Hey.
Would you like a coffee?
How you doing?
I'm scared.
I hope you're doing well.
Patronizing clown.
So something really funny happened to me recently.
Very funny, Lois.
I was probably sipping a little too much vodka, browsing a little too much Twitter instead of working on the 1,000 other things I should be doing. You know how it be. And I saw this tweet. And as a man with too few ideas on how to fix himself, but too many on superheroes, I decided to waste the few brain cells that remain and type up what I think old Jimmy Gunn
I'm Jimmy Gunn.
should do with Scoobert Doo 2.
What you mean, Melvin do?
Should do with Superman 2. On July 14th, 2025, I tweeted,
Give me a Lex and Clark reluctant team-up movie where Superman needs Lex to defeat Brainiac.
You idiot.
on September 3rd, 2025, The Gun tweeted this.
Listen again.
On September 10th, 2025, James said this.
And it is a story about Lex Luthor and Superman having to work together against a much, much bigger threat. It's as much a Lex movie as it is a Superman movie.
And on that very same September 10th, 2025, I decided to put an end to my YouTube vacation, put a pause on that seasonal depression to talk briefly about what exactly my hyperactive hopes and fanboy fantasies are for Man of Tomorrow. But before we get into it, as you all know, I've been working on my Jason Todd feature fan film for way too long. I promise you guys you'll see it real soon. Hopefully this year soon. Otherwise... But speaking of, Batman Day is coming up, and if you want to celebrate in style and experience the ultimate Bat Family gathering, you better check out the sponsor of today's video, DC Dark Legion. Play with over 60 DC heroes and villains in the official DC strategy game. Assemble every single Bat Family champion, Batman, Nightwing, Red Robin, Batgirl, and of course my boy, Red Hood. Celebrate the holiday of the Bat with exclusive in-game mini events featuring the whole fam. Play together, earn extra gifts and resources, and rewrite the family's legacy in the heartwarming, brand new original story packed full of Easter eggs and exclusive Bat Family buffs. DC Dark Legion allows you to customize, upgrade not only your vehicle, man, but every single zone of your Batcave, from the War Room all the way to the Armory and more. And that's not all, dude. You can recruit Justice League allies like Big Blue himself to create the ultimate team. Or you can be like me. Why would you want to do that? I don't know, but you could just chill in the lounge and hang out with your favorite champions. Hear life updates from Robin and Batgirl. With DC Dark Legion, you have the ultimate control. Interrogate criminals, piece together clues, and crack the case all in style with the high-fidelity comic book inspired graphics and the iconic voiceover performances from legends like Roger Craig Smith. The PvP battles also allow you to team up with other players to compete with other servers in the ultimate battle in Gotham. So what are you waiting for, dude? Click my link in the description to download and play DC Dark Legion on mobile and PC for free. And of course, long live the Bat Family. Thanks, guys. A Lex Luthor and Clark Kent team-up movie is not what anyone was expecting, not even me. I was just fantasizing when I tweeted that shit.
Thought I'd try it out.
I had no idea that my dumb, squishy baby Joey brain would somehow predict what the gun had in the chamber. Might as well put a bullet in me, James.
Fucking gun.
That's kind of an out there idea for a pseudo sequel, right?
Wrong! With anyone, Luthor.
I didn't imagine that would go so quickly.
But it's kind of a perfect story for me that was perfectly set up, if you ask me. I've seen some comments about how in the hell, why the hell would they ever team up? I mean, we've seen how much of a fucking monster Lex can be, and we've seen just how much he absolutely, with every single molecule in his body, every single ounce of his being, wants to destroy Superman.
Superman is popular. Less so every day, according to chatter online.
Hashtag super shit.
I didn't say anything.
But that's exactly why it's going to be so great. First off, it's just perfect for Gunn. He excels best, if you ask me, when the lead characters are always bickering, always outspoken about their opposing ideologies.
Well, I didn't realize your motivation was altruism.
Exactly!
I was being sarcastic.
And what two better characters, opposites, to force into a situation where they have to try to save the world from a threat neither of them can stop on their own? Lex sees absolutely nothing good in Superman.
Why? Because you're destroying us!
And Clark will always, even after being tortured, even after so many human lives were threatened, ended because of Lex's blind hatred, try to find the good in him. Try to look into Lex's eyes with compassion when there is not an ounce of it looking back. Making the sort of sequel, sort of a buddy cop movie with these two is just about the most left field yet entirely on brand thing James could do. I say sort of pseudo sequel because I think many people will rightfully think that this is Superman 2, but if you ask me, this is going to be equally, if not more, a Lex Luthor movie. This is why James has been so coy about writing a Superman follow-up, but constantly clarifying that this is not Superman 2.
Not exactly a Superman sequel per se.
This is not going to be Clark's character's journey. I'm sure he'll grow, I'm sure there will be development, but I really do think, and we should have expected this, that Gunn is going to be drawn to the fractured, fucked up mind of Lex.
And honestly, if he didn't punch a dog and shoot an innocent man in the head, I think a lot of people would be on his side.
The last time we saw Lex, he was a broken man, not by Crypto thrashing him around like a fucking bald-headed squeaky toy, not even by the fact that he lost, he failed, Superman beat him. But because above all else, the people have turned on him.
Because that Lex Luthor sucks.
The people, all kinds of people, absolutely fucking despise him. His tears, his inability to speak, his greatest fear was proven true in the end. Nobody will ever love me. All that I've learned, all that I've made of myself, all that I've tried to give to the world, and he took that from me. It was for nothing. And listen, I'm not saying Lex is some misunderstood guy. He's a vain, arrogant piece of work. I'm saying all that vitriol and superiority clearly comes from a place of need. He needs to be loved. He needs to feel that, even if he will never allow himself to. It's why he has a framed photo of fucking Mr. Handsome on the desk. The only being worthy of his sentimentality is a monster he created in a lab.
Will you still love me when I'm no longer young and beautiful?
It's hilariously, humorously bleak, but it has the potential to be hauntingly sad. And if I'm right, if Superman is the supporting player, and if the movie is through the eyes of Lex, I think Gunn has the chance to add some kind of raw pathos, some kind of underlying emotional understanding to Lex's character. I think Nicholas Hoult brought a taste of that in his performance, even if we mostly saw Lex in the midst of his forever battle with a Superman he refuses to try to understand. What I mean is we only saw him mid-speech, mid-scheme, mid-master plan.
He's back. 12C, 18A, 34B, 8H, 4014, 22K, 5B, 5B, 1A, 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 1A! I'm scared.
I hope in this movie, we spend some alone time with him outside the action. I hope we see the why to the pain behind those eyes. And look, I don't need them to go full tragic abused son of a wealthy tyrant who had to watch his mother smother his baby brother Root like Smallville did.
The saddest thing you've ever heard of in your life.
I just want them to humanize him in the same way James made an indestructible god all too vulnerable.
I think I'm just more interested in getting into the heart of Lex, getting to know Lex more as a human being. I think we saw, a lot about the evil part of Lex. There's something, despite everything, that is incredibly heroic about Lex.
You remember at the end of The Killing Joke where Bruce finally drops the facade briefly in one of Batman's greatest acts of compassion and pleads with the Joker that against all odds, against fate, their eternal battle doesn't have to be this way.
You don't need to be alone. We don't have to kill each other. Let me help you.
I want Gunn to craft a Lex-centric story that makes us see the truth that All-Star Superman spoke so beautifully.
If it wasn't for you, I could have saved the world.
If it had mattered to you, Luthor, you could have saved the world years ago.
You're right.
That if Lex could get rid of this chip on his shoulder, if Lex and Clark could be pals, could understand each other at least, the world would be all the better for it. The seeds were planted, man, planted beautifully.
And someday, I hope, for the sake of the world, you understand that it's yours too.
And an entire movie centering around that notion? Fuck me, man. I have a reason to live. I'm so ready. But what about the villain? You can't just have two characters talk in a room the whole time. Who would do that? Me. Sorry.
You idiot.
What about the villain? Well, I also said in my fucking tweet, the least original idea anyone has ever had. I mean, dude, there's been fan art of this guy as the main bad guy in the Superman movie going all the way back to the Return sequel that never happened. There has been fan casting, fan theorizing about this since before I was literally fucking born. The fans, they want him, but I'm more interested in why.
Yes, I think it's time.
Brainiac is the perfect villain for Clark and Lex. Simply put, Brainiac is all intelligence. If the audience thought that Lex was a cold-hearted genius scientist incapable of empathy, then Brainiac proves that just isn't true. I think no matter which version of Brainiac's motive and origin they use, since, there's about 52,543 of them.
I am pleased to make contact with you, Lex Luthor. I presume you speak for your planet.
No shit. I'm not dim.
Whether he's a Kryptonian artificial intelligence or a traumatized Kaluan who lost everything, whether he has flesh and blood or is entirely machine, what matters is how twisted and fractured his viewpoint on life is.
But why kill? The fewer beings who have the knowledge, the more precious it becomes.
Here's a villain that has turned any and all emotion he might have had off. Here's a being, a force who wants to keep, contain, confine perfection, bottle life so he can judge it from afar in a literal jar.
I am here to save you. Today is the beginning of your eternal life.
And that's perfectly poetic, man, because Lex literally created a pocket universe that almost destroyed the entire fabric of reality just so he could study and keep his enemies in glass cages. He's the perfect villain for Lex because he shows him what he could become if he keeps down this path. He's also the perfect villain for Clark because in my version of the story, both of them travel into the bottled city of Kandor. A huge complaint from some Superman fans, the fans who love the Kryptonian aspect of the character just as much as the farm boy aspect, were disappointed by Gunn's change to the canon.
Because who knows how large his secret harem is already.
And as I've said before, I personally love that change and think it's necessary to make Jor-El a flawed man who did not want his son to be Space Jesus sent to lead us into the light. And like I also previously yapped about, I get why fans are upset. Some seem to believe that Clark is directly disowning his Kryptonian heritage and not just the ideology of his father. You know what solves that complaint? Have Clark and Lex be shrunken down into the Brainiac bottled, still fizzling Kryptonian city of Kandor. By doing this, you not only have the potential to create very interesting visual set pieces and settings that would make this pseudo-sequel feel entirely different to the first film. I mean, if there is any superhero director working right now who knows how to add character, distinct architecture, and visual style to different planetary cultures, it's James. Needs to slow the fuck down and stop firing so many damn shots, Gunn. But more crucially, man, we have the chance to experience such fascinating and engrossing character beats for both leads. Clark, after fully embracing the love of his human side and choosing to be Superman despite not being sent to Earth to protect anyone, is now seeing his birth people. He's interacting with them, he's able to touch them, speak back to them, and not just stare, idealizing holograms. I'm sure not every single Kryptonian is as single-minded about keeping their people alive at any and all cost as Jor-El was. There is a chance for Clark to look at the bottled people and learn more about his history and who his parents really were in the flesh, really were as individuals outside their final desperate message as their world exploded around them. And Lex, oh boy, I'm getting excited just thinking about it.
No, Angela, unsheath! He's the only one protected!
Didn't imagine that would go so quickly.
Lex can see how vastly human Clark is compared to the Kandorians, compared to his birth people. Lex spent the entire first movie blinded by the label of alien, and in this one is forced to spend a large chunk of the runtime surrounded by Kryptonians who never stepped foot on Earth, who were never raised by the Kents. Does that change his view on Clark? And if so, would Lex ever admit that? Not only could they go down the dramatic route of having Brainiac be the one who caused to encourage the destruction of Krypton, who made Clark the last son.
It doesn't matter anymore. Farewell, Krypton.
Gunn definitely does not have to go there to tell his story, but he could, and it would be a deeply emotional and wonderful emotional progression for Clark's character. But I think just by having Clark in Kandor, you raise so many questions that could forever evolve his character. Does seeing how Kryptonian society functioned, does hearing about his parents change Clark's view on who he should protect? Is he simply Earth's hero, or does he need to grow into a hero to all beings of all kinds everywhere? It's an emotional story for both of them, and there is so much you could fucking do by shrinking down Lex and Clark, so much room to craft one of the greatest Superman and Lex Luthor stories of all damn time. Not that I could write it, because I'm a fucking moron.
You idiot.
But what about the rest of the gang?
I party like a rock star, choir boy.
Look, I would love to see Lois also be with Lex and Clark and Kandor. I think the chemistry between the three would be fucking amazing, but I also don't want to take away from the intimacy of having hero and villain stuck together solo in a place neither of them understand. So what do we do? Because you know, I know, Gunn knows that the common complaint, or desire rather, with his first film was that we all desperately wanted to see at least a few more scenes with Clark out of the costume into the disguise at the Daily Planet. And perhaps more importantly, I think we all wanted to spend more time with Perry, Lois, and Jimmy and the Planet crew doing their thing. And the way to solve that, I think, is simple, really. When we need a break from Clark and Lex being trapped in Kandor, you cut back to Lois and the Daily Planet crew dealing with Brainiac's invasion. Is that kind of similar to the first movie? Yeah, it is. I don't know. I think there are ways you could mix it up. Some of my favorite superhero sequels tend to be smart remixes of the first film. Clark was imprisoned by Lex for Act 2 of Superman in his pocket dimension. Now Lex and Clark are both imprisoned in Kandor for Man of Tomorrow's Act 2. The Daily Planet crew was flying around trying to report on the chaos at the end of the original Act 3, and now for this one, I would love to have them be on the ground. And fuck, you could have Supergirl, the Justice Gang, maybe Peacemaker.
Fuck the Peacemaker.
All trying to save the individuals of Metropolis as Brainiac is trying to shrink wrap that shit too. Instead of keeping the Planet crew safe in the sky and terrific ship, have them in danger, trying to do the right thing when Superman isn't there to watch over them. And I get giddy thinking about the idea of Lois being the one to verbally tell Brainiac to go fuck himself. That would be iconic, man. Fuck.
I am here to save you.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, does that mean we might not get enough Clark and Lois outside the beginning before Green Baldy shows up and Sexy Baldy gets broken out of jail? Probably. But like I suspect, this ain't Superman 2, and there will be time for that. I don't know, man. Gunn's a great writer. He will cook something way better than this. I'm just too excited and spitballing nonsense about what I want to see. Speaking of nonsense, the ending. I have this idea for an ending, something I've dreamt of for years, even before the first Superman came out.
You're a fucking moron.
Okay, so presumably Lex and Superman will defeat Brainiac. That's how these things go, and I know a lot of people think this will lead to Lex being released from prison, deemed a hero, and start his presidential run. And I would not be surprised if that's the case. I would not be surprised if the twist of the movie is that you think it's called Man of Tomorrow because, you know, Superman, Man of Tomorrow. But then you realize in the final frames of the film when Lex announces his campaign slogan, the banner swinging down as we push in on a smiling Lex as the crowd cheers for him, giving him the love he's always so desired, that he, in fact, is...
The Man of Tomorrow is forged by his battles today.
Could I use that? I mean, the Man of Tomorrow for my slogan?
Knock yourself out.
Lex Luthor, the Man of Tomorrow. And that's fucking great. I would be so very happy with that. I would clap, but I want to take things in the complete opposite direction.
You idiot.
My ending, the high top cut, I want Lex to have saved the day, saved Superman, saved Clark, and nobody fucking saw it. He goes right back to Belle Reve. I love that for karma purposes. I love that for empathetic purposes. And I love the idea of seeing him bruised physically from the battle with Brainiac, defeated emotionally from the lack of recognition, entirely alone. Until a prison guard rolls up. You got a visitor, Luthor. Lex assumes it's someone who wants something from him. I mean, who else would care enough to visit him? So he gets dragged to the visitation area, gets shoved down by the guard, and we see Lex's reaction at first. Pure confusion, a bit of his usual disgust in his mouth, and then we hear a familiar voice. Mr. Luthor, Lex finishes the familiar voice's sentence. I know who you are. I read your pedestrian puff pieces you pass off as some kind of humanistic insight. And now we assume we know, and just as we know, we cut to reveal, why are you here, Kent? Clark, sitting behind the glass, a performative nervousness to him, but he can't help but chuckle a little at Lex's insult, considering what they just went through together. Clark leans forward, pulling out an aging notepad out of his oversized jacket, and simply says, Mr. Luthor, I was hoping you could tell me your side of the story. Lex restrains his tongue, no telegraph smile or anything like that. He simply, without the anger we are so used to seeing, begins speaking, telling his story. It doesn't matter where it starts or where it ends. It doesn't matter what he says. We don't need to hear it. All that matters is that Clark is there to listen. He'll always be there to try and understand. Even when we give him every single reason not to. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. I love doing these little fan fiction, fantasy rambles about upcoming movies. They're kind of my favorite videos to make. I mean, they're hard to edit, but they're so much fun to just passionately talk about what I would do with these characters. Speaking of which, Jason, very soon, hopefully this year, if not, bye. There's a chance it's January, but we're just waiting on that final sound mix, and I'm about to post a trailer real soon. So anyway, I love you guys. So sorry for the delays in the shit, but you know, one day I'll do a tell-all novella. Thanks guys. Love you. Bye.